Hello everyone and welcome back to another Rise of Kingdoms video. This is Dragothien here, and today we're going to continue the series, guys. Commander Pairing Ranker YSG. We're doing YSG this time. He's one of the most popular commanders, if not the most, in the game. So I figured we'd go ahead and get one of the first few set off with him. Now I'm going to do this one a little bit differently. The first two, they were about 25 minutes or so, and I wanted to kind of skim it down a little bit. So I've already placed my commanders where I want them to be, so you don't have to watch me move everything over. And I'm going to give generic reasonings why for bottom and middle tier, and then we'll go through the top tier and kind of walk through why I made those choices. And again, we can always have those conversations in the comment section below. As always, this is a sponsored content creation channel for Rise of Kingdoms. Please hit the sub button, hit the like button, bell notification, so that you can have all this good stuff coming your way every day. So let's go ahead and move through it here. I'm going to go ahead and start with the bottom tier and work my way up. And I finally figured out how to do this on my emulator here. So the bottom tier, again, we know YSG is such a popular commander. The reason is he is so universal. He works with a lot of different commanders in the game. And even these commanders here, you can probably place them as a second and they'll still be okay because YSG is just that good. However, basically what I did was I put all of the mobility commanders down here, because if you have a mobility commander primary with YSG secondary, it just doesn't work. It's just not supposed to work that way. Double C primary with YSG secondary, again, you'd have to go full cav tree and just to make this kind of even come close to make sense. And it doesn't work that way. These mobility commanders are built for mobility, and they're not built for raw damage dealing power, which is where YSG comes in. Scipio, again, early game, it's not bad. You can have him Scipio primary, YSG secondary, or vice versa, but Scipio is just mainly a tanky commander with some extra troop capacity. And again, YSG is built to generate a ton of rage, to pump out a ton of damage, and to augment skill damage capacity. So again, just not a good synergy there. And then same thing with Cleopatra. She's a gathering commander. She does have some buffing capability going on, but again, don't place YSG with Cleopatra. That's just not going to be very good at all. Let's go to the middle tier really quick. This one's a little bigger, because again, all of these for the most part, like, again, they're not exactly amazing, but they'll work. They'll work because YSG is so good. Looking at Pelagius and Leo and Attila, even Olgi, Boudica, Tamiris, all these commanders, they're not built for skill damage necessarily, even though you got Pelagius as a skill damage commander, but they've got things that synergize with YSG with his rage generation capability and his ability to enhance skill damage for your commander. Almost every single commander here has a skill damage component with the exception of Constantine and Attila. Everybody else is going to be affected by that fourth skill of YSG, and you can use YSG primary or secondary to pretty much any of these commanders. With Tamiris, I would say put Tamiris primary, because you don't want to be generating that much rage that quickly, and that's why she's not a top tier commander in my opinion with YSG, because YSG amps up your rage regeneration, whereas Tamiris, you want to slow down your rage regeneration as much as possible, because you're basically trying to debuff that target with as much skill damage reduction as possible, or skill damage taken debuff as possible, and YSG inhibits that because he's generating rage so quickly with that second skill. Again, even Barca, YSS, Charlemagne, Lohar, YSG is one of the better AoE PvE, so just in general PvE commanding combos in the game. From an open field standpoint, Lohar should not be in the middle tier, he should be in the bottom tier, but I just wanted to kind of showcase that even with killing barbarians, YSG is really just that good. Ashita, same thing, more rage regeneration. There's a skill damage component there as well. I mean, there's just a lot of things going on that help each other out. And Joan, people have been kind of upset that we didn't put Joan in the Saladin middle tier or top tier. I think that Joan in the middle tier was kind of where she should have been at, or maybe even bottom tier. I think maybe I did put her in bottom tier. But Joan works just as well from a universal standpoint. She works with everybody, but if you're talking about open field fighting, probably not. You could go YSG Joan and be fine, but you're really kind of sacrificing a lot of capability with that second commander spot. Whereas, again, Pelagius YSG or YSG Pelagius, Constantine YSG, Leo YSG, Yulji YSG, Boudica YSG, Attila YSG, and then again, swap them around. YSG primary works in all these situations. With YSS, with Barca, with Charlemagne, with Ishida, with Joan, I would all have YSG primary. And then I've got Sundiak over here on the right side. She is actually really good as a garrison commander. You've got Sundiak with YSG with full siege. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. You can even go YSG Sundiak and be the same way. In fact, I would prefer that be the case, YSG Sundiak, because you can get the garrison talent tree as well. It's just a good way to go. And then you've got Sundiak with, I believe, the support tree. I want to say she has the support tree. If she does, there's another siege damage component in there as well. So pretty neat combo if you want to just burn some siege and cause a whole lot of damage to boot and basically inflict no regular troop damage to yourself and just put siege. Sundiak YSG or YSG Sundiak would work. And finally, we're going to get to the top tier. It's very populated. It's very populated. So we've got pretty much the rest. So YSG with any of these commanders is going to be very, very nice. The synergy is amazing. Genghis YSG is one of my favorite cavalry commander pairings to use. Saladin YSG works just fine, same way, although not quite as much damage as Genghis, but Saladin's tankier, so it might stay alive a little bit longer. Herman YSG, especially early game, is really, really good. El Cid YSG is one of those classic pairs for the first 2 KBKs that also work. Artemisia YSG as a garrison, and even in the open field, does work really well too. Kusunoki, again, always beneficial. People still use this in endgame on Canyon because of his debuff removal. Kusunoki primary, YSG secondary, not a bad pair. You're going to always be firing off YSG's skill with maximum effect. You're going to have maximum effect on everything going on with that army because you strip the debuffs with Kusunoki. Edward YSG, one of the best rallies in the game from a skill damage standpoint. I used this in KBK2 and it was hands down, and KBK3, and hands down one of the better setups that I've been able to use in the open field and in rallies. Sun Tzu YSG is one of the classic AoE, double AoE commander pairings. I've used this since the first couple weeks that I've played the game, and this was a year and a half to 2 years ago, and it's still good today. A little squishy, but it's still really good. Minna YSG always will work as well. The amount of damage you're going to be pumping out, just like with Saladin YSG, it's very similar. Baybars YSG, another double AoE pairing for Cav, not bad at all. You can go either way, YSG primary with archers or Baybars primary with Cav. Alex YSG, one of those classic double universal commander pairings. Alex primary with infantry, YSG primary with archers. But again, I usually prefer Alex YSG, and that's a great rally, by the way. Alex YSG rallying is very, very good. Charles YSG, open field and rally and garrison are a really good pairing. And again, we went over that with the commander pairing ranker on Charles. Mehmed, definitely a good pairing. Oh my goodness. YSG Mehmed rally, city rally is amazing. And then open field, it still works. Definitely in Canyon as well. YSG Mehmed is definitely a great pairing to have. And again, open field, very, very good. The problem is people see YSG and they target him like that because of how much damage he does. So you gotta be careful with that, but double skill damage bonuses and troop capacity bonus. And if you're rallying a city, there's so much more skill damage that Mehmed does. Oh my goodness, we're talking about Freddy too. YSG and Freddy, amazing rally combination. YSG primary with full archers with Freddy secondary pumps out a serious amount of damage. Same thing for open field. YSG Freddy works out really well because of the troop capacity bonus and the extra bonuses he gets for open field combat. And he has the heal, and he has the, when he's doing the siege for a rally, not siege units, but like the siege, action of siege, so conquering stuff, he has the extra bonuses for that too when you're attacking a city. So that's a really good pairing. Osman, again, always a good pairing with any nuker, so that's definitely a top tier talent there. YSG primary in that situation with full archers is the way to go. Ramses YSG, always good pairing too since he came out. I would actually like YSG primary in this situation. I know that Ramses has traditionally been in primary situation there, but I like YSG primary there. Kira, the new commander that nobody really has maxed out just yet, or if somebody does, they may actually be doing it. But I think there's a really good synergy there as well, especially obviously in Soroli and Ian's Ballad and stuff like that. But even open field, the damage bonuses that you're getting from both of those commanders is pretty nuts. Giving an 80% skill damage bonus to an already 50% skill damage bonus to YSG. That sounds pretty enticing and exciting. Probably fairly squishy. But again, as long as you don't like go into the front line and lead with YSG Kira, you should be in good shape. Same thing with Ethelfled. Ethelfled YSG and YSG Ethelfled is a great combination. Canyon certainly is one of those ones as well. Open field, it works. I would prefer YSG primary in the open field, but you can use Ethelfled YSG with Ethelfled primary as well. Go ahead and feel free to use at least 98% archers, 1% infantry, 1% cav, or just go full archers and enjoy that benefit of having the full archer tree at your disposal with YSG's talents. Julius, you can go primary or secondary. I prefer secondary. YSG primary with full archers, Julius secondary. You will hit his 30% bonus even with him being secondary. So having that bonus not go to waste is definitely a top tier pairing. Richard goes well with anything. And again, as long as it's not in a garrison where things can die, Richard and YSG is going to be a very good combination for you to have. And even early game, whenever you don't really have that many troops and you're not going to fill your hospital anyway, Richard, YSG, and garrison for your city maybe would not be a bad idea. But it's very, very, very not recommended to do that towards the later game. You don't want Richard in the garrison situations that cause you dead. But Richard YSG open field is very, very good. YSG Richard, again, is also very, very good. And Guan YSG. Guan YSG is basically the upgraded version of Sun Tzu YSG, and he does all that damage to a T. And if you're doing a rally, Guan YSG does a serious amount of damage. Guan pumps out a ton of nuke damage, and with YSG's rage generation skill with his second skill, and obviously the damage bonuses that he provides too, very good combo. And then finally, these last two are both, again, garrison commanders. Theodore YSG, I believe, is going to be one of the better combinations in the game to combat pretty much anything. And then same thing with Wu YSG. That's one of the better combos in KBK Season 2 to combat any skill damage commander coming your way. Wu YSG will take care of those rallies, no problem. Really, really good combinations. YSG, again, we expected, right? We expected to see this be a really top-heavy ranker. Because YSG is just so good and he just does so many things really, really well. And I like the fact that we're just under 13 minutes right now instead of the 25 to 30 that the last ones have been. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to do them this way. If you want me to do it a different kind of way, let me know. But I think this is actually the better way to go because the videos are shorter. You don't have to sit here and listen to me talk for 25 minutes, although I will talk for an hour. You guys know that. But that being said, I hope you guys like this ranker. This is pretty obvious, but at the same time, I think that there's some people that continue to ask me, is so-and-so good with YSG? Who should I have primary or secondary? I hope this video has answered that question. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. I'll see you guys next time. Cheers. Have a good one. And take care.